What's going on, everyone? Welcome back to the show. So today I want to talk about Social Security, and I want to talk about also the other benefit systems, the old age benefit systems. We're going to talk about those as well, because we hear all this talk about raising the full retirement age when it comes to Social Security. We hear about cuts need to be made, and I want to focus on these other systems, these other programs, and we're going to go into those programs because those programs can also be cut. I was reading on Politico, I was reading this op-ed, and they were talking about this very thing, and I'll show you a little clip of that as well, because this is an alternative to raising the full retirement age. So that's what we're going to focus on in this video. But first off, you guys can do me a favor. Please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit that little bell notification, and then click all. By clicking all, you get notified anytime we post a video. We do daily videos here, so by clicking the bell notification and clicking all, you should be getting updated every day. Okay, so first off, I want to show you this illustration here, and I'm going to explain this. I know it might not make sense right off the bat, but I will explain everything on here, so hopefully you'll understand what I'm talking about. And then I'm going to show you this little clip of this op-ed, because I think this is something we should be focusing on as well. This is more pressure that we should be putting on Congress. Hey, this is another option. You don't just have to raise the full retirement age. So let's take a look at this here. So we have the old age benefit system. So this is a combination of different programs that are available. Okay, so we all know, we hear a lot about Social Security. This program is what is, I don't want to say it's on the chopping block, but it's getting a lot of attention, and you do have some politicians that want to expand Social Security. You also have politicians that want to cut Social Security. And so we need to pay attention to this, because these politicians, this is pretty much a decision that they'll be making in the future, and this can affect all of us. Okay, so the first program, like we were talking about, is Social Security. Now, there are other programs that are out there. Defined benefit pensions. Okay, so that's what I'm currently receiving, a pension. So we'll classify that as DB. And then we have defined contribution plans. Okay, so this is like 401ks as well as a 457 plan, which 457 is for like government employees, but it's just like a 401k or very similar. Okay, and then we have the individual retirement accounts. So that's IRAs. All right, so these are the old age benefit systems. Now, let me show you this clip from Politico. And like I said, this is an op-ed, so this is an opinion piece. Now, in this opinion piece, what they're doing is they're saying, look, Social Security, raising the full retirement age, that's not the only option. There's some other options out there, and they're mentioning one option here. And they say, for example, the most talked about proposal for cutting Social Security right now is focused on gradually raising the full retirement age to 70 years old. The CBO, the Congressional Budget Office, says that this would save $121 billion between 2024 and 2032. However, a similar amount of savings could be achieved by applying an annual 0.03% tax on the $34.5 trillion assets held by the DB, DC, and IRAs. So like we were talking about, the DBs, the DCs, and the IRAs, we just mentioned those other programs. So if they were to raise a tax of 0.03%, that would be a similar amount to raising the full retirement age, that $121 billion that they're talking about. Such a tax could be directly collected and remitted by the financial institutions that manage these accounts without changing anything at all about the tax filing obligations of individuals. For a person with a $100,000 IRA, the tax would amount to just about $30 per year. So that would be a change of about $30 per year for someone who has $100,000 in assets. And so just looking at this is a better option than raising the full retirement age. And there are a few different reasons why this is a better option. First, let's take a look. Let's go back and take a look at this illustration that I had here. So if we're looking at this and we're looking at Social Security, now some people are collecting not just Social Security, they're going to be collecting multiple streams, right? And this is good, multiple retirement plans. So some people might be collecting Social Security. They might even be collecting a pension as well as a 401k or 457, and they could have an individual retirement account. So they could be collecting all four. In certain situations, like in my situation, I paid into a pension. So the Social Security, as far as is my career job, I wasn't paying into Social Security. I was paying into a pension. And so when I was working, when I was younger and things like that, I was paying into Social Security. But some pension plans you'll pay directly into that pension, but that's all you're paying into. And so basically what I'm saying is, when it comes down to it, it could be Social Security, it could be a 401k. That's probably where most people will fall when it comes to their retirement. But you can also be working on towards a pension, and you might be also getting Social Security, but you might not be getting Social Security. So it all depends. And then the individual accounts, that's another thing that you could be collecting. So let's just go. I want to simplify this as much as possible. So let's just say the average person they have a 401k for their retirement. They don't have an IRA, and they're looking forward to receiving Social Security. So you have these two programs. Now, how could this benefit them if we're looking at doing what we were talking about as far as contributions, do the 0.03% increase? So let's just say at the current time, just make everything easy, they have $100,000 that's in their 401k. And so it would be equivalent of $30 a year. And so that would be $30 less than what they would have in their account. That's basically what we're saying. But that would allow them to receive Social Security at 67. And this would be key, because if you're talking about raising that full retirement age to 70, well, that's going to not only affect people who are only receiving Social Security, but it's also going to affect people who are receiving Social Security as well as a 401k. Because in most situations, when a person is looking at retirement, they're not just going to look at their 401k. They're going to look at their 401k. They're going to look at Social Security if they have it. They're going to look at their pension if they have it. They're also going to look at IRAs if they have them. So they're going to look at everything, and those are going to be the deciding factors of if they retire or they don't retire. So it makes sense in the situation to say, I want to retire at 67 or maybe even younger. And so I don't want that full retirement age to go up to 70, because if it goes up to 70, that means that I might have to push off retirement maybe 2-3 more years. And I don't want to have to do that. And so a person with a 401k, they're going to look at this and say, you know what, I'm all for it. I'll pay an extra $30 per year in the situation so I can retire at 67 and get my 401k as well as Social Security. And so you can see how people can benefit from this, even if they're paying a little more in taxes, because that's basically what it would be, is you would be paying a little bit more in taxes on your 401ks, on your IRAs, and it would be a lot easier to do it than what they're talking about raising the full retirement age, because that's not instant. You notice they had that gap there. So they said 121 billion over this span of time. And the reason why they're saying that is because they have to phase in that full retirement. They can't just do it immediately. If you do something like this and you were to tax people, what would happen is it would be instant. So you would have the money right away. You could put that money into the trust fund, and then you won't have to be dealing with the situation where now we need to wait. Full retirement age, we need to wait and kind of phase it in. You wouldn't have to do that at all. You could keep it at 67 and you can go this route. Now, why aren't politicians talking about this? The main reason they're not talking about this is because you have these big corporations and you have these money managers that are managing all this money, these assets that they were talking about, the $34.5 trillion, they're managing that money. And they're getting a percentage of that because they're managing the money. And in some situations, they're actually taking bigger percentages than what they should be taking, especially when it comes to pensions and things like that. They take full advantage of that. And it's unfortunate because most people don't really pay attention to what's going on with pension plans and 401k and 457. The money just kind of goes there, and we trust that whoever's managing it is doing a good job. But they're making record profits off of this. So it all comes down to money. And so this is another option. We'll have to see if you might have some politicians that might come on board and say, hey, look at a lot of this nonsense that's going on when it comes to these money managers taking advantage of people and all this stuff. So this is something that we're going to have to look at. I just wanted to mention this because anytime I read something and I think this is a plan that could actually move forward and actually work, I want to bring it to your attention just so you know what's out there. So whenever these politicians come up with a decision, whatever that decision is to reform Social Security, you're going to know, okay, this is the decision that they've made, and this is the choice that they're going with, but there are other options out there, and this is another option that they can entertain. So I want to know what you guys think about this, so let me know down below. If you like this video, please give me a thumbs up. Please subscribe for more. and I'll talk to you in the next one. Bye.